Good evening, and thank you for checking out this video of mine, and I will thank you again at the end if I'm lucky enough to maintain your attention for the duration. So not a lot to report on this time around, but when we last met, I was telling you about my passion for music, and I honed in on one band in particular that I said was my favorite band of all time, and that's Dead or Alive. And the lead singer, Pete Burns, died in 2016, or maybe 2017. I think it was 2016. It was 2016, and it was unexpected. Died of a massive heart attack. And, I was sad for him and his family. He wasn't anyone I ever knew personally. I did go to his concert. But what was even more upsetting to me was that he represented my past, all right? And I've talked about this with you before, how when we're young, and forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but I think I'm going to explain it differently this time in the hopes that maybe I can make more sense of what it is that I'm feeling. But when we're young, everything is new. Everything is new. And everything is targeted towards us. That's how society works. And we move on to one thing to another, to another, to another. And time flies by. And then we find ourselves 20 years later, like I find myself, thinking back to all those things that were so new and exciting to us 20 years ago. And Dead or Alive is one of those things that was new and exciting to me when I was young. So when Mr. Burns passed away, he took a part of my past with him, because I had always hoped that, maybe he'd record a new album, some new music. And after 2000, the music was very scant. There wasn't a lot of it. And, not only is the possibility of anything new erased, but, I can't even hear the man sing these songs anymore. So anyway, it's just, it was a little upsetting, and I've tried to remain connected to my past in some ways. I try to expose myself to new things, but there's always going to be a little spot in my heart for the past and what was very important to me in the past. And I haven't really let go of my passion for Dead or Alive, and there's other things. I was a big John Waters fan also, loved his movies, Divine, all that. If you have a really twisted sense of humor, you should check out a John Waters picture, particularly the older ones from the 70s. But anyway, one thing I did was I had a friend of mine who had this book in his library, and he loaned it to me, Pete Burns' Freak Unique. And didn't think I was going to read it. Was never really interested in the man. I was interested in his music. I didn't know him personally. Had no reason to think that I wanted to know him personally. But being that there was nothing new to be had, I had to expose myself to things from the past that I passed on at the time, so that they're new to me now. And Freak Unique is new to me now. It was published probably around 2006, 2007. Let me see when this book was copyrighted, if it even says. It just says it's copyrighted, but it doesn't say when. It's usually the first few or last pages of the book. Interestingly enough, it's not. And there's a lot of great pictures in here of him and his partner. But I went ahead and read it, and I did find out a little bit about the band that I had never known before. He had disclosed some of that in there, which I appreciated. But he talked mostly about himself. It is an autobiography. It's really a story of his life. It's not so much about the band. And he had this experience in the Big Brother house I think first watched Big Brother probably in the early 2000s, maybe 2002, 2003. And I was really into it, watched it for a season religiously, and then maybe when it came back, I might have watched it a few episodes of the following season, but never continued watching it. And I've never really been a fan of reality television. But there is a version of Big Brother in the UK called Celebrity Big Brother. And I don't know if they're doing it anymore, but they did it in 2006, and Pete Burns appeared on the show. So I have been watching that after I finished the book, because he did a whole chapter on his experience in the Big Brother house, and he talked about some of his housemates. And so I wanted to get more perspective. So after I finished the book, to be able to keep my ongoing love affair with Dead or Alive, I started watching Celebrity Big Brother Series 4, which is the 2006 season that he appeared on. And I'm up to about day 15, and I was watching that last night. And I watched it on YouTube, and today, I don't do this too often, but I started reading a lot of the comments about that particular episode. And in this episode, it was after housemate Faria had been, banned from the house, voted off. And there is a American actress that's one of the celebrities, Tracy Bingham, and Pete Burns just totally trashed her at the end of the episode. I was shocked. I mean, a part of me was kind of laughing, but a part of me was like, wow, she's being so harsh. Why? I don't get it. You know, and one thing that I found out in reading some of these comments, somebody referred to Tracy as a people pleaser. And I'm like, people pleaser? What's that all about? So I had to do a little research on that. One thing that I noticed about Tracy was that she seemed friendly, but she seemed to like go out of her way to be as non-controversial as possible. And I can respect that. I understand. It's kind of boring to me. I like to express my point of view, not to be controversial, but because I really want people to know what I think. So I don't really understand people like her, but I do understand that people kind of want to just not be upsetting and say things that's going to rub people the wrong way, so they'd rather just be sugar and sweet and, you know, everything nice. And I think that might have rubbed him the wrong way. Now, him meeting Pete Burns, now there's, you know, this is the cameras are rolling 24/7. That's what Big Brother's all about. Of course, they're going to extract from that 24/7 whatever they think is going to be, you know, most ratings worthy. And obviously, a cat fight is going to garner attention. So they did that without any context. So we really don't know what kind of led up to it. I know that in that particular episode, Tracy Bingham had been nominated for eviction. She got a little irritated about that, and I understand, you know. But I think Pete Burns, what I found interesting about him in the show thus far, is that he is willing to stick up for himself and defend himself vehemently, but he will not participate in any other discussions where there's a lot of animosity that doesn't involve him. He stays clear of it. And I thought that's pretty cool. I mean, he's not just being argumentative, just, you know, for the sake of sticking his nose in other people's business. He's only argumentative when it concerns him. And I respect that. Really, I do. You know, I can be passive-aggressive sometimes. I expect people to know how I want to be treated and just treat me that way. And when they don't, I just get annoyed, but I don't let on. He's not like that, or he wasn't like that. I mean, he will stop somebody. And she was just responding to him with, oh, I love you, I love your makeup, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, bitch, you don't even know me. And he called her an LA whore. And I was like, oh my God. That was pretty shocking. But someone in the comments was talking about people pleasers. So I had to look this up because I didn't really know what a people pleaser is. I don't know if I've ever met someone like that. But when this commenter brought up a people pleaser, I was like, I don't know if I've ever met anybody like that. So I did a little research, and there was a blog posted by Amy Morin back in the summer of 2017 on Psychology Today, and she identified 10 signs of being a people pleaser. Number 1, you pretend to agree with everyone. Not me. I'm not a people pleaser in that respect. I don't pretend. I will disagree with everyone if I have to. And, I don't want to be disagreeable, but first and foremost, I gotta be myself. It's very important that people know who I really am and what I really think. So if I think something different, I'm not going to agree with everybody to just get along or try to get them to like me. And that's what people pleasers do. They're people that need validation from other people. They need to feel liked by everyone. And we all want to be liked by everyone. And I'm one of those people. I'll admit, I do want people to like me. And it bothers me when they don't. But I'm not going to change who I am to try to get them to like me. I'll just forever be frustrated because I cannot be something that I'm not. But anyway, number 2, feeling responsible for others' feelings. That, I don't know. I think I've felt that way at times. I think we all have. But if I'm not responsible for somebody else's feelings, I know it. But I understand, sometimes, somebody's upset around you and you take it personally, like, is it something that I've done? I have felt that way before. Number 3, apologize often. I do not do that. I apologize as little as possible. And I usually don't apologize right away. I got to think about it a long time and decide whether apology is in order, and I'll do it. And I do it in my personal life. I will not do it in my professional life because that is dangerous. If you say I'm sorry in a work setting, make sure it's verbal. Never put it in an email or in writing because it can come back to haunt you. I mean, you could tell people that you regret something, but don't say you're sorry for something. Yeah, I mean, even if you are, and you can be, but you let people know this, and it can come back to bite you. So use apologies sparingly because it can be worn out. And some people do that. They say they're sorry for everything, and it just becomes meaningless. Don't even say sorry to me, just don't do it again. That's it. If you can promise not to do it again, you can keep your apologies. It's just a word. Anyway, number 4, feeling burdened by things you have to do. And I have felt that way before. A lot of times I'm doing my own thing and I take on somebody else's duty, and it's or chores, whatever, and it's not a good feeling. But I usually do not agree to do things for people. And if I do, a people pleaser will try to make an excuse, fake illness or something. I won't do that. If I give my word that I'm going to do something, I'll do it. I'll be mad as hell because I agreed to do it, but I'll do it. So I try not to offer to do anything, and people know better. People don't usually ask me to do anything. I mean, unless they know that it's something really simple and that I won't say no to, and I usually don't. All right, so number 6, you feel uncomfortable if someone's angry with you. Shouldn't everybody feel uncomfortable with that? If it's warranted. I mean, if somebody's angry at you for something that you should, that is not your fault, you shouldn't feel uncomfortable. But sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. Number 7, you act like people around you. I won't do that either. I don't want to fit in. If I don't fit in, I just walk away. I just observe, listen, but I don't pretend. I don't want to pretend like I'm everybody else that I'm around, just so that they'll like me. No way. Number 8, you need praise to feel good. My self-esteem, I'll admit, is not very good. And praise, I find it hard to accept. I don't believe it. Sometimes I think people are just trying to make me feel good. So praising me, I do appreciate it, but sometimes I find it hard to believe. So I'm definitely not a people pleaser in that respect. Number 9, you go through great lengths to avoid conflict. I try to avoid conflict, but I won't go to great lengths to avoid it. I mean, I don't know what great lengths are. Yeah, but I'm not going to bend over backwards to try to avoid conflict. If it becomes just way too much of an inconvenience, and I find that I'm sugarcoating my words too much, I'm just going to say things straight up and not give it any more thought. And those are just words. I'm sure there's also behaviors that would be demonstrative of what great lengths are, but I would need some examples to really put myself in those shoes and know how I would react. Number 10, not admitting your feelings are hurt. Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I still don't think I'm a people pleaser. Some of this stuff applies to me, but I still don't think I'm a people pleaser. Do you? I don't. But yeah, sometimes people have done things that upset me, and I try to write it off because I feel I'm not entitled to hurt feelings. I think I'm overreacting. And I've also been guilty of just trying to let people believe that, David, he's so easygoing, he's so down to earth, he's so laid back, nothing bothers him, you can say anything around him. And that's not true. Some of the things you say to me are going to bother me. And I have to get better at letting that be known, like Pete Burns did. But I don't want to go that far. You got to check out this video. It's incredible how poorly he treated her. And he's not the first person that he's had it out with in the house, and probably won't be the last. I got several more shows to see. But anyway, I want to thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope you have listened this far and agreed with a lot, if not everything I have to say. And if you didn't agree with much, just continue watching. You'll find that there is, you'll find you agree with me at times. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Thank you and good night.
Thanks for watching. I appreciate your curiosity to hear what I have to say. Whether you agree with it or not, I want you to know I'm always thinking about a variety of issues and sharing them with you. You may not agree with me this time, but next time you will, and vice versa. It is important that you subscribe to my videos because they are the best kept online secret. You may never find them again, and I would like us to remain in touch. That means not only subscribing, but giving a video a thumbs up when you agree and commenting when you don't. I'm also interested in reading and replying to what you think.